Good morning, Celebration. Today, our theme is growing your faith, and our verse is found in Ephesians 4, verse 15. It says, "Instead, speaking the truth in love, we will grow to become, in every respect, the mature body of Him who is the head, that is Christ." What does this have to do with faith? Well, this is describing not just how a mature Christian looks like, but what mature holiness looks like, to be transformed in every aspect like Christ. And one of those aspects is our faith. Now, faith can maybe be one of those Christian buzzwords that we hear a lot that maybe has lost a little bit of its meaning to us. Or at worst, it can be one of those words that we maybe believe a definition of what it's completely not. Let me see if you've heard this one. That maybe the world thinks that what Christian faith looks like is us basing our beliefs on zero evidence, and we believe it just 'cause. Well, that's actually the opposite of what the author of Hebrews puts it like in chapter 11 of Hebrews. He says that faith is the reality of what is hoped for, the proof of what is not seen. Faith isn't just going in blind and obscuring our sight to the world and how it operates, but rather it's the driving force of our decisions. It's how we live our life, knowing that God is in control. Faith is so integral to our lives, not just as Christians, but as beings who are called into holiness. Ephesians describes the mature believer and how every aspect, even our faith, is reflected in that of the faith of Christ. So how do we grow in this faith? Well, Jesus puts it like this. When his disciples in Matthew 17 come to him, and they're puzzled and they're like, why can't we drive this demon out of this man? Jesus describes why they couldn't, and it's their faith. They probably had seen Jesus do it a lot. And it's my theory that they probably thought, well, if I just say the right words, just like he does, and if I believe really hard, then, voila. But Jesus says, no, it's not that. It's that if you had faith the size of a mustard seed, and he's not just referring to the size of their faith, but the quality of their faith. See, a mustard seed, even though it's a very small seed, will grow into this big, massive tree. And a tamarind tree, to put it opposite, is this tree that has pods and they're really big seeds, but it doesn't really grow as big as the mustard tree. So it's not just about the quantity of our faith, but it's about the quality of our faith. In order for us to grow in faith, we have to grow in the right kind of faith, not this wishy-washy faith that's based on a result, but rather it's faith that's grounded in who God is, in his word, in his character. In some manuscripts, the way that this teaching is concluded, Jesus says that this type of spiritual battle can only be fought one way, with prayer and fasting. And remember that the first 21 days of the year aren't the only times that we should do fasting. This should be something regular, something routine of us drawing close to God. And we also grow in faith by reading his word. This isn't just a book that we read on Sunday because it sounds really nice, but it's been tested, it's been tried. We can investigate for ourselves what the eyewitnesses of those who have encountered the living God have said about him based on his word. The only real way to build a relationship is by getting to know him through his word. And lastly, I believe that Jesus is inviting us to keep putting our faith in him. Later next week, we are going to be inaugurating a new president. And whether you voted for him or you didn't vote for him, whether you think he's going to fix all of our problems or you think it's going to go worse, one thing is clear. Jesus is inviting us not to put our faith in the one who sits in the Oval Office, but rather put our faith in the one who sits on eternity's throne. That is the challenge of a holy, mature believer, to put our faith in him for all others. So church, let's keep growing in our faith.